Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Board of County Commissioners meeting for December 14th, 2022. If you'll please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Inspirational word for the day comes from Psalms. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His love endures forever. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Lundy.
Here.
Commissioner Hung. Here. Commissioner Moore.
Here.
Just go right into resolutions.
Okay, number 1, investments.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Lundy.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Appropriations.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Lundy.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Number 3, transfers.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Lundy.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Number 4, advances and repayments.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Lundy.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Number 5, requisitions.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Lundy.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
No.
Number 6, travel. There were none. Number 7, bills.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Lundy.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Number 8, authorize various personnel actions as indicated on the summary sheet for employees within the jurisdiction of Lorain County Board of Commissioners. At the conclusion of today's board meeting, the commissioners may recess in an executive session to discuss personnel, new hires, board appointments. 9, approve and waive the reading of the county commissioners meeting minutes of November 17th, 29th, 30th, 2022, and December 6th, 2022.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Lundy.
Aye.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Oh,
Bless you.
if you don't. Yeah. Can we move on?
I'm like,
If you don't mind.
here.
Yeah. If you don't mind, I'd like to read the number 10 is approve the 2023 special revenue annual appropriation temporarily for 60 days. I'd like to make that as a motion.
I thought the
The motion's on the table. Right, so the motion that's on the table needs to be dealt with before a new motion.
Read 10?
she didn't read 10.
I sneezed, so I don't know what she heard.
Yes, I just read it.
Sneezed and then he read it, so.
I'm the chair. I think I'm the one who would determine whether that's going to be directed by the chair or be directed by the clerk, correct?
Yeah, yes.
So,
So as a commissioner, I made a motion.
well, as the chair, I think the appropriate motion is approving the 2023 special revenue annual appropriation would be the appropriate motion based upon what's on the agenda. Do I have a second?
There's already a motion on the floor, though.
I think the first thing that needs to happen is the clerk needs to read the motion,
The resolution.
the resolution on the agenda. At which point, once she finishes, the chair has the floor.
Well, just for safety's sakes, I'll withdraw my motion. How's that? That makes it cleaner for you.
And let me just, yeah,
Okay.
right, so the chair has the floor. Each commissioner then will get the floor as recognized by the chair. When the motion is dealt with, another motion can be made when that commissioner holds the floor. That's the way the process works. If that makes sense to everybody? Teresa, I know it makes sense to you.
And my apologies.
That's okay.
So Commissioner Moore
I
withdrew
already
his
withdrew his
motion.
motion. Correct.
Commissioner Lundy, would you like to just withdraw your motion and then I can read number 10?
Yes.
Thank you. So number 10, approve the 2023 special revenue annual appropriation.
So move.
Second.
Discussion.
I'd like to add an amendment to that motion so that it's temporarily for 60 days so that the new administration can review this. It goes on in other counties, and I'd like to have that amendment for, I'd like to add an amendment to the motion to turn this into a temporary appropriation for 60 days. So that's my motion.
There's a motion on the floor.
And I'm adding an amendment
I
to
know
it.
you are. And so is there a second for the amendment? The second to address the motion as amended.
Yeah, there is no second. So we go back to the motion that's on the floor.
The amendment fails for lack of a second.
Correct. Is there discussion about the motion that's on the floor?
Yes, Mr. President. I see we have the Budget Director here, Casey Saunders. Would you come up and give some information for the public so they understand what this is we're voting on today?
Good morning. So the special revenue budget that is in front of you today, the special revenue references the funds that have very specific revenue sources. So we're talking about levies, grants. These budgets are all typically have restricted usage of those funds. So. Yeah, that's the gist of these. So these are all outside of the general fund
Right.
budget. The one
Would
that
it be
where we're
safe to
currently.
say that the voters have decided on those levies and how they're to be spent, and you are safeguarding with care, putting them in that special revenue appropriations?
Yes, by code, like I said, all those levy funds, again, funds that are restricted in what they can be used for are segregated and kept separate from the general fund and placed in these special revenue funds.
So would it be safe to say also, Mr. Saunders, that since the voters have voted on these levies, the commissioners really don't have oversight to make any decisions on it at this point? So doing a review in the next 60 days, in your opinion, would not change anything because it's already been decided?
I don't know that maybe that's a question for Casey to answer.
No, it is not.
Yeah.
As the counsel for the board, I'm not sure that I want Casey talking about what the board's ability
Right.
to adjust levy
My question
funding.
then would be for you, Mr. Prosecutor. Since the voters decided on those levies, would the commissioners have any oversight to make any changes on those?
Well, I don't know. I'd have to look at the levy language for each one of them and tell you what your authority was for each individual levy. I will tell you that it's generally true that once the levies are passed, there's a restricted way in which those levy dollars can be spent and allocated. That's accurate. What I'm saying is that out of an abundance of caution, I don't want to make broad statements because I don't know what each individual levy says, and I don't know what discretion is in there within the levy language. So I'd rather do that in a more suitable forum, and we can discuss it. And if you want, I can look at the levies and I can tell you them.
But I think the important point here is we're not talking about general fund.
Correct. It's a
That's
different- it's a
the
different set of rules.
distinguishing factor here.
Right, it's a different set of rules. But in Casey,
Right.
I know you're very competent on this. I just,
No, I agree. I'd have trouble painting a broad
Correct.
picture because there are obviously many special revenue funds. So
And we had a nice conversation about that yesterday, did we not? We discussed it, so,
sure.
thank you.
Okay. Yeah, two different things. We're not talking general fund.
right.
So,
Two different pots. completely.
Yeah, I think everyone's aware of that already.
Okay.
so.
No, thank you for your work on that, Casey. I'm satisfied with your work on it.
okay. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
Yes,
Commissioner Moore.
No, we'll revisit it next month.
Okay. Move on to item number 11.
Approve the 23 general fund budget.
So move. Okay, since I'm not hearing a second, that motion
Well,
fails.
I'll tell you what, I'll second it with an amendment that this,
No, I think
temporarily
the
for
chair already
60.
determined that the motion had failed.
Well,
can I second it with an amendment?
he has, there's no second right now.
Okay.
If there's going to be a second, and you would offer to amend it, state your, if the chair's indulgence, Commissioner Moore, state your potential amendment, please.
Well, it was all I did was add temporarily for 60 days. That was it.
So you're,
All I'm asking is that the general fund budget be passed temporarily for 60 days.
you're offering to second as amended.
Correct.
The question then is to the Commissioner who made the motion, Commissioner Lundy, is that
Acceptable?
an acceptable conditional change to your motion?
I made the motion. There was not a second. The chair has determined there was not a second, and the motion has died. The motion died.
That's what you determined, that's what you.
So, I'll add to that is we'll take this up next week. We got another meeting next week. We'll make a determination then. Okay, we'll move on to item number 12.
Entering into stop-loss contract with Medical Mutual of Ohio effective January 1st, 23 through December 31st, 23, and be paid from the healthcare accounts.
So move.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
13, appoint Jonathan Reichel as Lorain County's APR Inspector for the year 23. Total annual appropriation is $3,400 with mile reimbursements of 58 cents per mile.
So move.
Second?
Discussion.
That's our county beekeeper, if you will. So it's something also required under Ohio Revised Code. So,
Anything further? Commissioner Lundy,
aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
14, on table resolution 22-822 adopted November 30th of 22.
Do you need a motion?
Correct.
Move to approve?
Second on table.
Discussion.
We're just voting to
We need to untable it so that we can then bring it to the floor. For
Correct.
discussion.
Yes.
So,
Motion.
Commissioner Hung,
that's correct.
Yes.
Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye, done table.
And then you want me to read it, and then you could go into discussion?
you would.
Or approve a grant in the amount of $100,000 to Family and Community Services, Inc. on behalf of the Samuel L. Felton Jr. Valor Home Lorain to support homeless veterans in Lorain County in an effort to achieve greater self-sufficiency, including ability to secure and maintain permanent housing, a nonprofit adversely affected by COVID-19 pandemic, and to be paid from the ARPA other expenses account.
So move.
Second?
Discussion.
Okay, at this point, Matt, if you'd like to come forward. I'm sorry if you'll state your last name again. And we would just like an update, I guess, from you on the Valor Home, what the Valor Home is currently doing, and then we'll probably have some questions as well.
So Valor Home is a transitional housing facility
You
for,
can just use that.
use the mic, sorry.
There you go.
And
The
state your
camera's
name,
got you, so
please.
you don't need to worry
Got
about
you.
the audience there.
Matt Slater, Family Community Services, representing Valor Home, which is a program of Family Community Services. And it's a 30-bed transitional housing facility for homeless veterans. We also have a 3-unit on G Street program for permanent supportive housing for homeless female vets. And we have funding through the VA to support veterans to avoid evictions or homeless vets that are moving into new housing to help with first month's rent and security deposit. So we've got a number of programs under the Valor Home building there. And what we have requested is funding. We are creating 16 more units of permanent supportive housing. We have a number of funding sources, and as I think we're all keenly aware of the impacts of the COVID epidemic, and certainly not only on staffing, but on building materials. We saw our construction numbers just skyrocket from pre-COVID to which, we were about to start right when COVID hit, and that just put the brakes on everything, and really had a negative impact.
Did you submit a letter with the plan that you just said? Because I'm looking through the paperwork here and I don't see it. I see the financials, which is good.
Yeah,
But I don't see the letter with the plan you just stated.
yeah, I believe we did. But I can look back, and see what we did submit.
Tell us about the role that, well, first off, I know in the veteran community, there's been concerns raised because the Valor Home is operated out of Ravenna,
That's where our admin offices are. Yeah.
right? So the concern always is when we provide this assistance, that this assistance is actually going to go to Lorain County veterans and won't be in a pot that's whatever, commingled funds go elsewhere. Nothing against vets in other counties, but anytime we do these types of things, we even sometimes with Second Harvest, whatever it may be, that serves multiple communities. We want to make clear that we want that money to be utilized for residents here, which I think is only fair and reasonable of a request. So, so tell us about some assurances, I guess, that the money
Absolutely.
would stay in Lorain County.
Absolutely. And, we've been in this community since we started the planning back in 2010 for the original Valor Home. So we've been in the community for a while now. And raising the initial capital dollars to build Valor Home when we first got in this community, I think that concern was raised. 100% of this grant would be in Lorain County. So 100% of this grant would be serving Lorain County veterans. And so the agency has probably 80 programs under its umbrella, each one with its own separate accounting code that we would feel, again, any audit, any questions about that, we could show you money went into the Lorain County program. 100% of that allocation went towards the Lorain County vets that we serve. We've done this for a long time with a number of different communities, and that's a reasonable question because our admin offices are in Ravenna, and we are so widespread, so can understand that concern. But yeah, again, can't state it more unequivocally, but 100% of these funds would absolutely serve Lorain County veterans.
And what kind of assistance are you currently getting? Did the federal government or the state provide funds directly to you to help with your services during the pandemic?
So we've gotten a number of different funders, just being a nonprofit support. So we've gotten funding. The city of Lorain, for example, put money towards this, ARPA money towards this project. We'd have to separate out capital versus operational versus services. But yeah, we've gotten funding from the VA. Now that can only go towards operations and services. That can't go towards capital. So there's a lot of different grants mixed in there. And so you kind of have to get down to, the minutia of what you can do with these separate grants and what you can support.
Yeah, and I just, because I'm trying to get an education too.
Sure.
And, inquiries in the community as well. Is there currently a program in place where you're receiving maybe from the VA $150 a day per veteran that you're housing in the shelter?
Yeah, that is correct. Normally the per diem rate is $50. And I always tell people, it's a struggle. Back pre-COVID, that's a real struggle. Go get a hotel room for $50. Heck, go get a hotel room for $150. We have to provide services. We have to provide the facility. We have to provide food, utilities, transportation, and all the care to our vets.
Excuse me. I'm having a struggle. We'll wait till they're done with their conversation.
Okay.
Thank you. You may continue.
So yeah, that is true. But again, that $150 has to be tied specifically to the transitional housing program. It can't be used for other aspects of what we do. You can't just move that money however we want. It's from the VA. It's very regimented about what we can do with those dollars.
But I mean, was that pandemic specific, or is it sunset to go away at some point?
Yeah, as soon as the epidemic is declared over, that will go away.
Okay. Tell us about the role that the advisory council plays for Valor Home. I realize the key word is advisory, but tell us about the role that they play.
Sure. So like any nonprofit, Family Community Services has a board of trustees that governs and oversees the entire organization. The advisory committee, we've done this in a number of communities, is a local group who comes together more informally and doesn't have the legal responsibilities or rights that a board of trustees has, but helps us. A lot of times they function as helping raise dollars for projects and keeping us connected to the local vet population and what's going on in the local community. So, we've had that since the beginning, and we continue to do that in a number of communities. And that's kind of the role that they play.
Yeah, I mean, we're just having a candid conversation today, so,
Sure.
you know, because I want to make sure that concerns have been brought to my office are certainly addressed. There have been members of the advisory committee who have had concerns because they said they haven't been able to see financials in a while. So is there a reason for that, or or am I getting the wrong information?
Well, I think I'm aware of where this questioning is coming from. I think it's from one person in particular. So, you know, I don't know the motivations behind that. We are more than happy. I mean, the agency's financials are on our website. So anyone could go look at that.
Okay.
I'm happy to provide financials, program specific, which we have in the past. The advisory committee, it kind of depends on what the advisory committee wants. And during COVID, the participation went down. And so there's been, and frankly, since Samuel L. Felton passed away, it's taken some effort to kind of reinvigorate the advisory committee. So we're happy to share that, but that we're unwilling, or I would say that I would question the motives of this person and why. They're stating that, and this is only coming from one person. So.
Yeah, I don't really want to get in personality disagreements, but, you know, all I want to do is make sure that when constituent concerns come to our attention, that we make
And I've
sure
offered to
that
meet
brought
with that
forward.
person, though, just to let you know, in person, and it's never been taken up multiple times.
Okay.
If I could note, Mr. Slater, the paperwork you turned in does have programs, specific numbers in it, just to
Sure.
know what you are saying.
Yeah.
It is in here.
Yeah. Yeah, again, we're not here to hide anything.
Yeah, we're not
Again,
accusing
especially
you
to
that.
especially to funders, you know, that we're
right.
asking. But again, we're pretty transparent and open about everything.
I'll tell you what I don't have, and I don't know if the other commissioners received it, the letter with the plan with the 16 beds, as you said. Can you get that?
Absolutely, yeah, I could get you,
Usually with the nonprofits, that's what we've required.
absolutely, just a letter describing the project, the 16-bed
You
project.
thought you would send that? Does anybody have it besides me? Because
I'm
I
not
don't have
seeing it. I'm not seeing it.
No,
No.
I'll look back at what we sent, and it's no problem to write up a quick one-page where we're at, what we're doing. If would that meet what you're requesting?
As much detail as possible.
Yeah.
I like detail.
Okay. So don't limit it to just one page. I got you. Thank you, Commissioner Hung.
And it just, once again, how do you plan to invest and utilize this money, should the grant be granted by the board?
Sure. So this money will help in creating these permanent supportive housing units. We've already, raised a lot of money, $800,000 from the Federal Home Loan Bank, $150 from the Home Depot Foundation, $100,000 from the City of Lorain ARPA Fund, number of private donors. We've secured from LMHA permanent supportive, we've secured from them specialized Section 8 vouchers for the vets, and we've secured funding from the state to provide case management. So this would go directly into creating those units
are you missing one?
to serve veterans.
Are you missing one organization that may have given you some money?
And, you're right, thank you, sir. And of course, the Lorain County Commissioners,
How much was that?
$250,000,
And that was in March of 2021.
correct.
This board gave you $250,000.
Yes.
And what did that go for?
That will
I don't want to reread it for you.
No,
I'll let you tell
yeah.
me.
That is going towards the construction of the facility. Our lumber cost alone went up over $350,000.
Yeah, it went up everywhere. At 9:17 this morning, I received your packet. These aren't financials, these are your tax returns. I would recommend taking a look at the OSU extension. They came up and asked for money. They had a very nice PowerPoint, very nice presentation. Said, here's where we're getting our money. Here's where the money goes to. Here's how many Lorain County veterans are being affected. And they actually operate in other areas too, but they're specific to Lorain County. And I haven't gotten anything except your tax filings. That's it. And I got it 13 minutes before this meeting.
In all fairness,
mean,
if I
that's what I
could,
got.
Commissioner,
That's what I got.
I just wanted to point out, we didn't ask for Mr. Slater to come in and make a presentation or a PowerPoint, but I understand your point.
Well, you asked to vote on it today, so that's why I'm saying what I'm saying.
Well, I think my
don't think we're gonna
proposal
vote
today
today, are we?
my proposal today is for us to gather information and make a determination next week, if that works for everybody.
Yeah, we
this
turned
is-
in the application back in, I think it was November or earlier. So, I'm happy to share more info.
I would recommend watching our budget hearing and take a look at how they presented their needs for the community and how they presented it to this board if you want to take a look at how we like to, at least this board likes to see it.
I
That's
would
my
be happy to
opinion.
do that.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Mr. President? Sure. Yeah, and where I'm at on it, is I remembered the 250,000 and it was being presented to us as a wing for women, female veterans, correct? Are you intending, and again, I don't, like you said, I don't have a proposal to look at in front of me.
Sure.
Is that the intent to use it for that project specifically?
So, yes, so whatever we wrote, we will do. So one of the, it's 3 permanent supportive housing units. So one of those is targeting serving homeless female vets.
Okay. And I appreciate the information, I just had hoped we'd had it, like I said, I didn't get it ahead of time, and Commissioner Moore's suggestion is a good suggestion. I'm not ready to vote on this today by any means, but we do, Mr. Prosecutor, have a motion on the floor that we need to dispense with in order to get to next week. Or whenever it is you're going to bring in and
Or next
present
month.
to us.
Or
Yeah,
next month would-
Yeah. Mr. Prosecutor?
Yeah,
would you
you're correct.
recommend?
There's a motion and a second, so the motion has to be addressed. You have to decide if you're gonna, the roll has to be called, and you have to vote yes, no, or abstain
Or withdraw.
on the motion as it
Or
is.
withdraw.
Yeah, withdraw.
We're at a second,
motion.
right?
You can withdraw.
Yeah, but they could withdraw both their motion and
Withdraw it.
second.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
Withdraw both.
Yeah,
Before
sorry,
we
you're
call
getting
vote.
caught up in all the Robert's Rule stuff here, man.
That's okay.
Figuring how to,
So, we wanted to bring it to the floor for discussion. That's why, we wanted to, on table, bring it to the floor, have the discussion. So, and, yeah, I understand. So, any other questions
You
at
know,
this
I just
point?
think for the public watching this, this makes a whole lot more sense now that we've kind of gotten to the bottom of it and can get to a proper presentation in front of the board.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, well, I don't believe the board will be taking action today. We wanted to make sure we had some questions asked, and definitely appreciate what you're doing. Not trying to be critical of what you're doing by any means.
Sure.
But obviously, the board's always concerned about making sure that the veterans here in the county are certainly taken care of. We appreciate what you do for the veterans outside the county as well. Good work. But, every time we invest these dollars, we just want to make sure that it certainly is benefiting folks locally.
Understand,
So-
everyone has to do their due diligence.
Right, sure.
So I appreciate that, and the opportunity to come back, I appreciate that, and provide more clarification.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great, thank you very
Thanks
much.
for coming out.
So this time I would make the move to withdraw my motion.
You don't make a motion to withdraw, you just withdraw.
You just withdraw.
No? Then we'll withdraw.
Before the second
Withdrawn.
expires.
Withdraw.
Would you like to withdraw your second?
I'll withdraw my second.
Okay.
There you go. That's what I was looking for.
Pause.
Okay. We're going to move on to item 15.
Okay, number 15, set aside $20 million of unappropriated funds into Q construction account for the Lorain County Correctional Facility Project.
So move.
Second.
Discussion.
I think the purpose for doing this is that we have had several presentations here before the board concerning the quality and operation, well, I shouldn't say operations, but basically the quality of the structure of the county jail. It's very apparent that there's a need for a new jail in this county. We've had an earlier study done that explained basically, I think, what we already knew, that the jail was needing to be replaced, probably more so than updated. But the difficult part is what's it going to look like and what's it going to cost. There's a study that is underway, and we believe that study will be back in February. And at that time, there will be a somewhat estimated price that will be associated with it. We anticipate it's probably going to be a tough number to chew on. But it's important that the community understand that, this is a bridge that the county is looking at needing to cross. How it's crossed in 2023 will be up to the board. But in the meantime, we feel that it's important for the taxpayers to understand that the board is going to make, a commitment and have skin in the game. The future board may need to reach out to the voters at some point and see if there's a need for some assistance of some sort. But I think it's always important for the county to indicate that it too has skin in the game if they're going to be asking for any type of community support in the future. I believe we'll be finishing the year somewhere around $40 or $41 million surplus. I see the finance director shaking his head. So that's the reason or the interest in making this Q construction fund established with $20 million that would go towards that facility project. Any other comments?
We're going to have to deal with something that I tried to do 20 years ago with this jail, which I could not get support back then in regards to line of sight issues and how the jail currently is. It's been an issue every year. The sheriff knows it. The employees know it. It's not safe. But today's motion is just saying we're setting up a savings account. The new board will decide how much we're going to spend. The new board will decide how large the jail will be. And I believe, based on the financials that I did and reviewed for the next 3 years, I think the public will be happy that that 1/4% sales tax you're paying already goes to the jail. Our goal is to do this without a 1/4% sales tax, without any tax. So this is nothing more than establishing a sales account. We're not going to get the study back till February, so I'm not supporting this. Is just whatever. Just that's all I have to say.
Yes, in reviewing the consulting agreement with CGL, I see that Administrator J.R. White had some comments at that time on the process that he was going through. Would you, I hate to put you on the spot, Administrator, but can I just call him the Commissioner? I meant Administrator. Would you give us a review on where you are in the process with CGL? You had 4 proposals, and CGL was chosen, and we passed the resolution in August. Just give us an update on that.
That's correct. So CGL was picked as the top company to do the needs assessment study. We have a committee, research committee, comprised of the judges from Lorain, Elyria Municipal, Court of Common Pleas, as well as other representation, Sherry Klauser at probation. And we've been meeting with the consultant in getting our needs assessment study, which is going to tell us, hey, is there any useful life left in this jail? If not, what do you need? And so that's that process. We will get that report, Commissioner Moore is correct, in late January, February.
Okay, and I've heard kind of numbers bantered around at the length of time this process is going to take. Do you
For the
care-
construction,
Just total all in, do you care to share that?
5 years or more?
That's kind of
Yeah.
the number that we've been told.
Right.
By the time the assessment gets done, the determination is made whether to repair or replace.
Right.
Or, not repair,
Refurbish or
Yeah.
renovate. Yeah.
renovate or replace. But right now, we have the immediate issue with the roof over there, so. yeah,
That's
it
right,
just
and we're
was-
pursuing some grant funding and stuff to take care of the jail as it sits now. Obviously, we have to run the current jail until we're not running it anymore, until we have a new facility or a renovated facility. So we have to keep it safe for not only the inmates, but certainly the staff as well. And so we have to maintain that as an ongoing expense.
Okay, so we are, this was passed in August, I know we were talking about this in 21, we had the first fellow come in with his first report. I don't remember the month exactly Mr. Hill was in for that. So this has been going on, year.
That's right.
We're a year into the project
That's accurate.
already, at the beginning end of it.
2 years.
Yeah, a couple of years. Yeah, time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it, Commissioner?
If this is fun, it's fun.
So, okay. I didn't have the.
Yeah, it
data
certainly has
for
been
the
going on
study.
since I started.
Yeah.
here.
Way before you started.
Well, it's been 70 years in the making, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would encourage anyone that's in on the decision-making process, make a trip down to Warren County, probably the most recent county, to put together a jail.
Right.
I thought, having been there, I didn't see anything that was flashy or fancy. Seemed like it was very efficient. Good lines of sight.
Right.
You know, I can't stress enough how, the corrections officers need to go home safely at the end of the day. So we need good lines of sight and have an environment that is, meets all the standards, so we don't have people taking us to court
Right.
For not meeting certain standards. But it certainly has run its course, that's for sure. So I would also, I won't be here, but I certainly would ask that as this project moves forward, that, the board take a look at discussions we've had about some type of diversion center being a part of the new county jail. Because the reality is that about 25% of the inmates were treating for some form of addiction and an even higher percentage for mental health issues. And I think the diversion center would be, quite effective, so we don't have the recidivism, people coming back for the same thing. But right now, we're the biggest detox center in the county, and I think a diversion center would be very effective and helpful in addressing the issue. So,
Thank you.
any other comments?
I did, but you can sit down.
Thank you,
Administrator.
Yes, you may sit.
But everybody generally gets a turn, and I just spoke, so
Sure.
is that okay?
Commissioner?
Well, for all you guys, go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, I just had a couple of thoughts. Kind of piggybacking on our conversation, the residents have been informed through these meetings on what we have been doing. We had the first study with Mr. Hill, and then the reading over the resolution here, the discussion that we had publicly regarding this, which led the board to the jail needs study through CGL, and that was an $80,000 resolution. The Sheriff's Committee has also addressed the board along with Captain Hammonds and Captain Ashdown. So this is certainly a topic that the residents have been briefed on, and the board has been briefed on with many discussions, which brings us to today's resolution. And the resolution states, quote, "The correctional facility will require major renovations or replacement." So and to take just a moment and speak to that line, the board cannot make a determination on what CGL will recommend because the study is not complete. I did perform my due diligence leading up to the resolution this week and spoke with the sheriff to get his thoughts on how the process with CGL was going, the kind of job they were doing. And the sentiment this far is that they're happy with the work being completed and are feeling that a competent and thorough group is currently conducting the work. So, for the public, you can rest assured that yes, the study is happening, but no, it's not completed yet. And because it's not completed, that leads us to the wording and the way the resolution is you see today. And, for most of us, when we're looking at the jail from the outside in, boy, it sure looks like we need a new jail. And like we said, it's 70 years in the making. And as we found out in 2021, you cannot jump 2 steps ahead in the process. And this board has ensured that the process is happening correctly and the correct legal practices have been used. So when the study is complete, there'll be a presentation to the board. The group will come in and go over with us and the public what their conclusions are in their report. So, and the other part, which some of my colleagues mentioned, is projects like these have big price tags. The board, the sheriff, the residents, we will all need to engage, study, and help educate within our communities, because this is a big project, to bring this project to fruition. And, you know, as we said with the administrator, the prospect of a new jail is in the short term is a 5-year planning stage, and it's important to ensuring the public safety and safe communities for our residents. And I think this issue is one that transcends and is one of unity, and I'm thinking about the future safety needs of our community and taking the necessary first steps to move the county forward, and again, depending on the outcome of the study, a new jail that will last the county hopefully 80 years and be here long after we're gone. That concludes my statement on that, Mr. President.
Okay. Any other comments?
Yeah, this will be another issue, will be brought up in one of our first meetings. Thank you. Of next year.
Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
No.
Number 16, amend Resolution 22-768, adopted October 26, 22, approving grant of the amount of $10,000 to Lorain Civic Center Committee, Inc., Lorain, to continue to serve as an anchor of the arts sector for theater in downtown Lorain, to be paid from the ARPA other expenses account. Amendment is to reflect the typographical error in the organizational's name.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
17, award a grant to Grafton Township in the amount of $50,000 for improvements to the Belden Park Playground. Improvements include the purchase of playground equipment, relocating and painting old equipment, enlarging the play area to include all playground equipment, add appropriate fall material, add appropriate edging to limit the amount of that material from falling into the grass, and Township has allocated the same amount, and this will be paid from the ARPA other expenses account.
So move.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, I am looking right at Don Romanchek. This is one that we went over and over for quite some time. So if you could just give the public a little bit of a synopsis of it.
With the onset, Don Romanchik, Lorain County Community Development Stormwater. With the onset of the pandemic, Grafton Township recognized a large increase in the use of their playground, especially for the children. They submitted a grant application. It took us some time to recognize it and to then work with them in the county prosecutor's office to make sure that it fit within the ARPA box. What they were able to do upon resubmission was to more clearly explain and demonstrate an increase in the use of the facility, how purchasing equipment and relocating things together to make it more both user-friendly as well as easier to maintain and safer for the children. This is a project that fell right into the box that has been outlined by the commissioners, where they are matching us dollar for dollar using ARPA funds so that everyone has skin in the game. It has been a message that has been sent by both, all three commissioners, but Commissioner Moore at County Transportation Township Association meetings, and also been stated by Commissioner Lundy and Commissioner Hung. They were a pleasure to work with, and I owe a lot to Dan Petticourt and his staff as we continue to go through these applications. Playground equipment would not have been my first, yes, this is an ARPA project, but we were able to work through some of the convolutedness that the federal government can create in regulation. And with that, thank you.
I think that this one was like the little engine that could. We
Yes.
kept working on it and chipping away on it and pestering you and asking questions. So thank you for your work on it.
Okay. You're welcome. And on behalf of the township, assuming that it does get approved, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments?
Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
18, approve small business grants in the amount of $115,000 adversely affected by COVID-19 pandemic to be paid from the ARPA other expenses account.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Present.
19, authorize President Lorain County Commissioners to provide and execute all necessary documents effective December 16th through December 31st for the year-end close activity, including but not limited to transfers, advances, repayments, appropriations, requisitions, travel bills, payroll-related transactions, and payments of all the necessary and urgent documents.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore.
No, I think the county administrator should do that role.
20, adjust the salaries for the various Alariah Municipal Court employees effective January 1st, 23, which reflects the county's 2/5 share for new biweekly rates. Judge Bennett at $2,288.85, Judge Robert C. White at $2,288.85, and Clerk Court Eric Rothgary at $1,945.52.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yep.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
911, 21, approve and enter a software service agreement with Simonis Inc., DBA HIP Link Software, California Standard Software License and Service Agreement in the amount of $20,650, effective December 14, 22 through December 13, 23, and paid from the computer software account.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yep.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Community Development, 22, award a contract to GenMed Construction Lorain in the amount of $21,444.50 for Alistair and Aaron Englehart, 9145 Root Road, North Ridgeville, to receive grant assistance from CHIP Program Year 20 home repair activities for a water line replacement, water heater replacement, and install sub pump to be paid from the CHIP Home Alternate Account.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Crime Lab 23, enter a sub-grant award agreement with the Ohio Department of Public Safety. Hold, please. And then, let me just start over. Enter in a sub-grant award agreement with the Ohio Department of Public Safety, Ohio American Rescue Plan Funding 22 grant program in the amount of $250,000. This will be used towards the new equipment to improve the lab efficiency and decrease the backlog of testing for the crime drug lab, and will be paid from the Public Safety Equipment Crime Lab account.
So move.
Second.
Discussion.
Did the administrator want to update us on this grant? Thank you.
Hi, Commissioners. Again, this is a long road, a long time coming, a real great learning experience for one of our directors. Jillian Camera, who's to my right here, is our crime lab director. She is excellent. I think she's doing a great job and will only continue to grow in that role. The Lorain County Crime Drug Lab has been awarded the $250,000 grant through the Ohio Office of Criminal Justice Services, and the funding from this grant will equip the laboratory with new and updating instrumentation. We all know that there was a backlog that was created certainly during COVID, and there still remains a backlog at the crime lab. This will assist Jillian and her team in reducing the turnaround time, getting the courts the information that they need, the law enforcement the information they need to proceed and prosecute cases. I really want to emphasize how proud I am of Jillian and her team in getting this together and getting this executed. It is going to be a very big help. I know that it's probably like Christmas for Jillian here because she gets some new equipment. And I will tell you, Jillian's very shy, but she's very good at what she does, and so I'm sure she would be happy to answer any questions that you guys had. Sorry.
Absolutely. Thank you. Good morning.
Morning. Can you kind of give us a general idea of what the lab equipment will do to help make us more effective or
Sure.
improve operations?
Sure. Currently, we have what's called a GCMS analyzer, which is where we primarily test the drugs that are being brought in through the different agencies. The analyzer that we have is about 17 years old, and with that comes challenges related to downtime. When that analyzer goes down, we have no backup, therefore we're kind of sitting and waiting for repairs, which is not a fast and easy process. So with this additional funding, we'll be able to purchase another analyzer, a second analyzer, newer, hopefully more reliable. And anytime we have downtime, we'll have a backup, and we'll be utilizing both at the same time as well. In addition to that, the opportunity to look into some software that would help eliminate time with handwriting and all of the process related to filing would absolutely advance the level of work that we're getting done because we're spending less time writing and looking things up. The equipment that we have it's efficient and it's wonderful, but adding more equipment is just going to add to the number of tests that we can process and add to our efficiency overall.
No other questions right now. Yeah, looking forward to it. Thanks for all your work on that.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Job and Family, 24, extend purchase of service agreement with Go Green Landscaping LLC Overland in the amount of $40,000 for snow plowing and salting services. This is effective until June 30th, 23, and will be paid from the contractual purchase services account.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
25, amend Resolution 21-619 adopted October 6th of 21, authorizing purchase service agreement with Neighborhood Alliance, Lorain, in the amount of $230,000 for protective services for adults using Title 20 Social Services Block Grant funds for fiscal year 22. Said amendment is to increase the value of contract by $72,987.78 for a total contract of $302,987.78 to cover the final months of the contract ending September 30th of 22, which will be paid from Title 20 Social Service Block Grant funds.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, this resolution today refers to Title $20. Just so the public understands, the TANF Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, we've talked about many times here in the meetings. That's for families with children. The Title 20 Social Service Block Grants are for adults without kids. And this resolution is amending and utilizing the funding stream, which the state of Ohio granted an extension until the end of the calendar year. The Lorain County Board of Commissioners, along with Job and Family Services Director Barb Tamas, have partnered with Neighborhood Alliance's CEO Alicia Foss, and the result is the resolution we have today. These are dollars that, if not appropriated, will have to be given back to the state as the new calendar year is upon us. And I feel it's an excellent use of the funds to be able to place adults in a warm place to lay their head, especially in these cold winter months.
Okay. Any other comments?
Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Stormwater, 26, adopt a First Amendment to the Miscellaneous Engineering Service Agreement with K.E. McCartney and Associates, Inc. The increased total amount is $440,082, and this will be paid from the professional services account.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Number 27, create a drainage district within Lorain County's General Sewer District in accordance with Ohio Revised Code 6117.
So move.
Second.
Discussion.
Gentlemen, you want to come up and explain these items?
It's the next two, right?
Right.
Thank you, Board. Like to really thank Assistant County Prosecutor Dan Petticord and Greg Peltz, who actually spent many, many, many hours bringing this up to you today. This first resolution in two is basically building off of our existing sanitary sewer district and formally recognizing and creating a drainage district as a sub-district of the county's existing district under 6117. Did I phrase that correctly, Greg? It's a mouthful. So this is the first step.
Greg, come, Mr. Peltz, you worked very hard on this as well. Please come up and share with us.
Thank you,
I
Commissioner.
had to
Good
listen to
morning.
you talk about this for the last 6 months, and at least you can make the three of them listen to it, too.
I thought Mr. Petticord's mic was muted, but thank you. Thank you. Greg Peltz, Assistant Prosecuting Attorney at the Lorain County Prosecutor's Office. And thank you, Don, for those very nice words.
So really, this first resolution before you will basically activate 6117 and bring it to the authority of the Board of Commissioners to have another tool in the belt and to create a little more efficiencies that can be discussed with the next resolution.
You want to just walk us through both
Oh.
this time?
Okay, well, if we could go, this presentation was really
There's
planned
another one, so let's,
with the,
okay, I guess we're messing up his
Okay, yeah. We'll take care of this first then. Okay.
So Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
So number 28, adopting a general plan of drainage under Ohio Revised Codes, Chapter 6117.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Okay, at this
Does
point,
Don have some? Do you have
on with
anything
the
to
show.
Yeah.
Well, first off, Board, one, thank you very much for that first step. very huge and important. Second, I've had the exact same problem we just experienced here in trying to jam it all into one and jam it through Greg, who slowed me down and broke it up so that we moved correctly and cautiously. So with that, if we can turn this over. Okay, we've got that. So I guess first off is, why are we doing this? Why a general plan of drainage? And one, it is an authority within the revised code, so it is a tool in the belt. And it'll provide the board the ability to act differently on different drainage projects. Also, with the general plan of drainage, the way we have designed it, it consolidates all of our stormwater activities into one document. This will make it easier for the general public to understand what the stormwater district does. It'll make it easier for staff. It'll make it easier for myself, and it'll make it easier for developers. Everyone's been constantly asking, why can't we get this all into one document? So at least in this case, all of our stormwater activities are in one document. And most importantly, this is going to be an easier process, a less burdensome process, and a less expensive process to do projects. So why is it easier? One, just the number of meetings. Well, I love meeting with the board on a regular basis. We'll go from 4 meetings for one project down to 1. So we'll be also reducing.
I like meeting with you guys.
That's
so.
okay.
All right.
We will have, unfortunately, taken away your walk in the woods, but anytime you want to go, I'm happy to lead a tour. But on mailings, this is a big one. With fewer meetings, there are fewer mailings, fewer public notices, and also the type of mailing. Under the ditch petition, we have to do a certified mail. Whereas under the district, we can do an advertisement, we could do first-class postage, we could do certified if we so chose, and then timing. On a best-case scenario, a ditch petition is 186 days. I don't know that we've ever done that. That is everything going boom, 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 as quickly as humanly possible, and all the calendar aligning for a Monday, a Tuesday, and a Wednesday meeting. So on a drainage district, we're looking at 25 days. So we can actually remember the project and what it's called from the time we start it to the time we're out to bid, which is nice. And then
Just to
I had
interrupt you on
mentioned,
that, if you don't mind.
Sure.
We usually don't have that many problems, don't we, when we do these? Because I think we had a couple this past year.
correct, normally, and for the smaller
Right.
projects, like, I was gonna go into one, but for like Quarry Road, we had 11 property owners within the benefit area. To have to send each of those property owners 2 certified letters to go through the petition process, plus all of those meetings, when we could have done 1 letter, 1 meeting, and it would have gone through, and it would have been none to differ.
I know, my concern is if we do have an issue and they don't receive the snail mail, and I'm gonna have to
Yep.
put faith in the district to say this could be a contentious issue, we better send certified. So I see this as giving you an option to speed up the process.
Well, it does give us that option, and
Okay.
more importantly, it gives the board that control.
Okay, so I just,
So it's not something that is, automatic, but it gives the board this option. There are some projects, like when we go through our community grant process, the township has already done some homework. They're applying for the grants. We go through it, we vet it if it's a good project, and then it goes to the board just to set aside the money. There are still going to be multiple opportunities
For
to
the
have
public to
this
know
and
that's
to be
affected.
able.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so we have the opportunity. Oh, and
Yeah, I
the
feel
most
the same way
important.
about that. I just want to stress that I think the property owners still need to be notified. I don't know if necessarily it's certified mail,
Yeah.
but
Oh.
at least they need to have something mailed to their home
Yes.
instead of just a general public posting. The
And-
clerk may not want to
Oh,
hear
yeah.
that from you.
Well, I
It's
think
more
she'd
work
much
for her,
prefer as
I'm
well.
preferred.
I'm okay
She's
with
gonna
it
do it
all.
either
I'd
way,
really
so.
like to go back to the postcards, but
Oh, the postcards, oh.
Before we get too far off the train here for
Yep.
Don, it's not so much the method of notice. It's the repetitive nature of the notice that's required under the ditch petition. Because we all know noise cancels everything, right? So if you've got to get 3 different notices, and they're all certified, and they all come from Romantic, eventually you're not paying attention to them. Okay, the idea here is to streamline it, make it more efficient. People will know what's going on. We will make sure that, I have no doubt that Don will make sure that happens, and the board, as Don mentions, you could set that criteria that it's by certified.
Right.
But it will be a different notice, it will be clearer, the process will be much more understandable when we're done with it.
Yeah.
Oh, and in our notice, we would be able to state no assessment.
Assessments.
Mm-hmm.
Now they'll vote yes.
There is. a standard.
That's it. Thank you, Don, for that one.
Yeah, yeah. That's his Christmas present.
Oh, that is everyone's Christmas present. We finally get to do that. And then, just as an example, again, if we were to just run a real simple, the estimated cost, and this is really stripped down to time and postage or meetings, and I'm probably under on the $60 an hour, at least I hope I am, for everyone involved in these meetings, because by the time you calculate benefits and everything, I hope we're doing a little better. Quarry Road project, $1,972 under the petition, $572 under this process, plus we gain at least 130 days of time. So
That's key right there. I think. Yeah.
those are two nice things to have, plus we're able to better communicate in our notice so that we don't send what I call the nasty letter, followed up by the nice phone call and the nice letter. And then why is this important? Because we've got 34 projects coming through ARPA. This is an updated list. Don't worry about trying to read all the numbers and whatnot. The important thing is the yellows are now underway. So those are going out to bid. The next thing
Can't
that's...
read it on the screen, Eddie.
Yeah, I know, like,
Did you do that deliberately?
Yellow means we've been moving forward. There are a few of them. If this is approved today, I've already warned Greg that he and I are going to have some fun, hopefully creating some resolutions, some notices. We've got the opportunity to then come to the board in January with ditches such as Dudley, Cobb, Cole, and possibly Gott Phase 1. So we could bring another 4 projects perhaps to this board in January and get them out to bid as well.
they could be ahead of the other ones because they're under the old system, right?
Well, they've got funding, and with this new system in place, they'll be able to go, so they'll get out ahead of Fortune, they'll get out ahead of Kellner, which I'm still waiting for, but,
And you should be able to hit that 2-year plan to get this done in 2 years.
well, if I
right?
get it done in 2 years, which is still, I really wish I would have given myself 3, but if I get it done in 2, I'm coming back for more.
Greg would have gotten that 4 years.
And with that, a little bit of what stuff looks like before, during, and after for some drainage projects, and I'm happy to answer any questions and or rely on Greg, my legal counsel.
Don, I'm always bugging you for a fresh spreadsheet, so you'll be emailing that to us later, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, this is great. This is really good news, as long as folks don't have to get the assessment letter, which we always have to explain, and that's why we pack the room. Once we explain, people are wondering why they're here and probably want to go back home after they realize they're not going to be assessed. But no, thanks for streamlining this. The devil's always in the details, and it takes a lot of work to walk through this process. And just the big thing is, obviously, the notification, so that we make sure we do
Yes.
properly notify everybody. I know we had discussions when I was in Columbus. Some folks wanted things just simply posted on a county website or a city website, and I kept saying, I don't know anybody who wakes up in the morning and says, I can't wait to go on the county website to see what's on there. So, the mail notification's important. I don't think it has to be certified, but the mail notification's important.
Thank you very
for your work on this, Don, and Mr. Peltz, thank you for being here and answering all of my questions when I had to call and ask you questions. So thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Anything further?
Nope.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Lundy,
I
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Time to get back to work. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank
You
you.
got
Not
2
too
years.
soon, Don, for me,
2
please.
years.
Developmental disabilities, 29, request Lorain County Auditor pursuant to ORC 5705.03 to certify to the Commissioners the total current tax valuation for the county that has territory located in the county and the dollar amount of revenue that would be generated by 1.6875 mills for the purpose Lorain County Developmental Disabilities under 5705.19L and 5705.22 and placed on the May 2nd, 23 ballot for 5 years.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Domestic Relations, 30, approve and enter an agreement with the Office of Criminal Justice Services to receive federal reimbursements on behalf of the County Domestic Relations Court for the creation of a virtual self-help center and access to justice services in the amount of $425,000 effective January 1st, 2023 through December 31st of 24 and paid from the OCJS ARPA account.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Engineer, 31, authorize posting of load limit signs that state weight limit reduction by 25% on various county roads for the thaw and moisture period in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code 5577.07, effective February 1st, 23 through May 1st, 23.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
32, authorize 25% freeze-thaw load limit on various township roads in the Carlisle Township in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code 5577.07, effective February 1st, 23 through May 1st, 23.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
33, accept on behalf of Columbia Township trustees improvements to Emerald Woods Subdivision 5 off North Boone Road, Columbia Township for EWGC Development Group LLC subdivider. Dedicate the following roads as recorded in volume 112, page 86, of Lorain County Records of Plats. St. Andrews Drive, Township Road T344, 0.253 miles in length, west terminus of the south to the cul-de-sac. Wally's Way, Township Road T345, 0.037 mile length, St. Andrews Drive to the west termini. Challenge Way, Township Road T358, 0.119 mile in length, north termini to south termini. And Victory Lane, Township Road T398, 0.196 mile length, Kathleen Drive to Challenge Way.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
34, accept on behalf of Eden Township trustees improvements of woods at Eden Township Number 1 off Cooley Road, Eden Township, woods at Eden LLC subdivider, and dedicate the following roads as recorded in volume 112, page 37 of Lorain County Records of Plats. Magnolia Road, Township Road Number T362, 0.27 miles length, Cooley Road to the south termini, and Abercon Place, Township Road Number T363, 0.126 mile length, Magnolia Road to the west cul-de-sac.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
35, accept on behalf of Eden Township trustees improvements of Mallard's Edge Subdivision 5 off Legends Way, Eden Township, Mallard's Edge Limited, subdivider, and dedicate roads as recorded in volume 112, page 70 in Lorain County Records of Plats. Keller Farm Court, Township Road Number T361, 0.083 mile length, Legends Way to the southwest cul-de-sac.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
36, accept on behalf of Eden Township trustees improvements of Eden Crossing Subdivision 1 off Island Road, Eden Township. FLG Eden Crossing LLC is a subdivider, and dedicated roads as recorded in volume 112, page 53 of Lorain County Records of Plats. Moore Boulevard, Township Road T365.250 mile length, Island Road to the northeast termini. Rawson Court, Township Road T366.058 mile length, Moore Boulevard to the north cul-de-sac, and Holly Lane, Township Road T367.032 mile in length from Mauer Boulevard to the southeast termini.
Easy for you to say. So move.
Sure.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Under the Sheriff, 37, approve agreement with Mars in the amount of $44,074.89 for the purpose of providing funding for medicated assistant treatment for eligible jail inmates, effective retroactive to October 1st, 22 through September 29th of 23, and this is a reimbursable grant.
So move.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
38, enter into subgrant agreement with Ohio Department of Public Safety, Ohio 22, Edward Bryan Grant in the amount of $46,925.48. This will be used for the salaries of DTF and will be paid from the Criminal Justice Service Salaries account.
So move.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Lundy,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Okay, we reached public comment. Anyone sign up for public comment
I
this
didn't
morning?
get anything.
No? Okay. County Administrator White, do you have a report for us?
He's ready to go.
People say I'm too quiet, but you guys know I can't shut up. Today, the commission will be voting on a sheriff's levy. 10 have already been done. This is the last 11 of 11.
Sheriff levy.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a
CBA.
collective bargaining agreement.
Jeez Louise. Yes. Today, we're voting on sheriff's CBA. 10 have already been done. It's the last of 11 successfully negotiated. I want to thank everyone on both sides of the table for negotiating these and giving us some labor stability. We have 5 more to do next year, so that's my report. Sorry for I wrote it down wrong for some reason. So
No, it's okay.
Okay.
thank you.
Good.
Question for Karen.
Deputy County Administrator,
I have a question.
I think we have a question for you, though.
Get away that quickly.
Good, put you on the spot. So how are you today?
Good morning, Commissioners. Doing well. How are you today?
We had the grant from, for the crime lab from
Yes.
Ms. Camera. Can you give us just a little bit about kind of what's going on down there in the crime lab and the electrical and all that
Sure,
stuff? You kinda
absolutely.
have briefed us on it, but it kind of coincides today.
Yeah, absolutely. No problem. Ms. Camera did include a little bit of funding in her grant request to cover some minor renovations for the crime lab. And so what we're looking at doing is possibly removing one of the non-stationary walls. It's almost like systems furniture, and opening up the space a tad bit, and then taking all of the equipment for the lab and putting it in the same area instead of having it divided into 2 separate areas. She's got new equipment coming in, new freezers, refrigerators, and we have to run the new for 24 hours before we can switch over all the sampling and things that are in the existing refrigerators. So we're trying to coordinate and do some logistics on how we're going to run, I think it's almost like 8 to 10 refrigerating units all at the same time. And then we have to get rid of the old units and have enough outlets for the new units. We're also looking at possibly tearing down or taking out the counter that was installed many, many years ago when the lab space was used as a cafeteria. By removing that counter and that countertop, it'll give us the ability to separate the lab area from their public waiting area. And that'll increase the security for the staff as well. So hopefully we'll be able to do that, get some, our plan is to get a quote out to others, to quote it, get us a price in place, and then of course we would come back to the commissioners and get approval to spend the funds.
Okay, we always talk about kind of timelines and how long things take, as we know, the elevators. seem to
Right,
be
well,
you know.
don't hold me responsible for those elevators, that was Petticord's fault.
Yeah, we're not gonna hold you to this. Hey, we're happy. We've got one working elevator that works really good, and we see the other guy working on the other one. But anyways, back to the basement. What do you think is your timeline? And we're not gonna hold you to, you know, it's gotta be this time. But what's your thinking on the timeline?
Correct. Well, I did ask Jillian to give us a 60-day head start. So now that she's got her grant in place, I asked her to hold off 60 days before she ordered the equipment. And there's a lead time involved with that, so that when the equipment comes in, the space will be done and ready for it, and we can receive it and just be flawless.
Okay,
How do you like that
anticipated
answer?
question that
Yeah.
you knew was coming next.
It'll be flawless.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No.
No?
Nice to see the second elevator getting worked on.
That's right. Hopefully, into January, we'll have 2 elevators working in this building at the same time. So,
Wow.
thanks, Commissioners.
Thank you. Dan Petticord, Assistant County Prosecutor.
Yeah,
Karen's correct. I did slow down the elevators. It's weird. The Ohio Revised Code only lets us do certain things, even though we all know we should be able to do them differently. Sometimes the law gets in the way and doesn't let us do things.
I didn't think it was possible to slow down those elevators, but congratulations.
Yeah, no, hey, don't, if you want to get lawyers involved, we'll slow anything down, trust me. It's all those people in Columbus write these big books that tell us what we have to do, but I don't have any report today. So there's nothing emergent. We're getting to that time of the year where the world is slowing down.
Okay, commissioners' reports. Commissioner Moore.
Nope.
Nope. Commissioner Hung.
I actually had a report. Well, I wanted to. Caught me off guard here. I thought for sure
sorry.
Dave was going to say something, which had me a minute to pull out my paperwork. On our summary sheet today, we have a resignation from Miss Natasha Kresep up in economic development. I just wanted to take a moment to thank Natasha for her service to the county and our economic development department. She has just been an outstanding ray of light out there in the community representing the board, and wanted to take a moment to thank her for her service to the residents and to the county. She's moving on to a new exciting position, and while I'm going to miss her, it's these changes in life that we grow into new positions, and I'm excited for her to be to having this new challenge and new position. So just wanted to say thank you, and we're going to miss her.
Okay. Yeah, I would just echo those feelings. She's certainly been a rock star for the county. And I know she'll continue to be a rock star for the state of Ohio as they work on economic development initiatives. So she will be certainly greatly missed. Also had the opportunity to attend the Pearl Harbor Remembrance at the Washington Avenue Bridge in Elyria last week. And obviously that's a day this country will never forget, much like 9/11. But it was a very, very good remembrance ceremony. I would just also note that we'll be back here again next week. We got some final things we need to wrap up by the end of the year, and looking forward to finalizing those things. And hopefully at the next meeting we'll wrap up everything so everybody can start enjoying the holiday season, get all that last-minute shopping in. And that completes my report. Madam Clerk?
Okay, so you already mentioned next Wednesday, December 21st, 9:30, we will meet. And then Monday, January 9th, will be our Commissioners' Organizational Meeting. That same day at 11 o'clock, Transportation Improvement District Meeting. Wednesday, January 18th, Commissioners' Meeting. January 19th at 9:30, Land Bank. January 24th at 9:30, Stormwater. January 24th at 11, Investment. And then Commissioners again on January 25th. And then the State of Ohio mileage reimbursement for 23 will be 58 cents per mile.
Okay. Board correspondence.
I'll move to waive the reading of the board correspondence.
I'll second that.
Discussion. Commissioner Hundy? Commissioner? Wow, that was new, huh?
That was it.
You won't,
Commissioner
you
Hahn.
won't make that mistake next month. No
Commissioner
offense.
Hahn. Commissioner Lundy.
Aye.
Commissioner Moore.
I didn't say anything. Oh, wait, well, the third vote now?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I corrected it.
Aye.
Thank
aye,
you.
aye. You did that last year, too, I think.
Did I?
Yeah, you did. So.
At this time, I make the motion to approve the personnel summary sheet.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Lundy.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Okay, seeing no other business come before the board, the meeting is adjourned.